It is my great pleasure to formally introduce the new head coach of the Florida Gators, Billy Napier.
Scared money don't make money, you know.
We've got a goal here to play a brand of football that creates a great sense of pride. It takes 11 people doing their job. We get to decide our future.
Hey there, Gator fans. Welcome to another edition of Bringing Back the Gators as we lock in on Billy Napier, building Florida's football program back up. And boy, what a day. What an absolute bonanza here at 1010XL, the home of the Florida Gators in Jacksonville. Marcus Stokes, the Nease quarterback, just announced his commitment to the University of Florida just a few minutes ago. So obviously this is hot. We wanted to talk to you guys about it. And we certainly thank Billy Napier and Scott Strickland for joining us the past couple of weeks. And we thank Harrell Harrell, who's been our sponsor on these Florida football podcasts the last 3 summers. I've known Holt and Julie Harrell for decades now. We went to high school together. They're amazing people. They're from Jacksonville. They're a local community law firm, but they're big enough to take on anybody, small enough that when you call them, they're going to know who you are. If you need Harrell Harrell, call them at 251-1111. I tell you what, here with Graham Marsh, our excellent producer, what a day. Just what a day. Graham, your thoughts about what we just witnessed?
Seeing Marcus commit. I mean, it was awesome. The coolest part was, honestly, one of the coolest parts is what Denny said about there was one offer in the country that was going to pull him away from Penn State, and that's the University of Florida. And that's because, partly because you grew up here and, Gator fan, and all that. But Billy Napier made it happen.
Yeah.
And to build back the Gators, like this podcast is called, those kinds of commits need to happen.
No question about it. That's how you do it. And Billy Napier has said that from the beginning. If I can't sign 25 great players at the University of Florida, you guys are going to be looking at a new head coach. But this, I think, is his signature commitment. And again, we really want to thank our friend Denny Thompson, who obviously does a fantastic job at 6 Points Academy and has been sitting in with us. He's worked with Marcus for many years, works with Anthony Richardson, and does a great job co-hosting Gator Bites with Hacker, a Gators podcast you can get on the 1010XL platform. So really appreciate Denny in bringing Marcus in to announce this big news. And we want you to hear the interview that we played on the Frangie Show. Denny Thompson, Lauren Brooks, and myself had an opportunity to talk to Marcus Stokes about this great decision. And here is that interview now.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show on a Stanley Pools Thursday. Always an old rock Thursday. Denny Thompson selected the music for today. It's the soundtrack of Elvis, and I'm going to guess that our next guest probably doesn't listen to a lot of Elvis as I welcome in Marcus Stokes, quarterback of Nease High School. Marcus, hello. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I don't listen to a lot of Elvis. I really don't.
See, I was right.
I don't either.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
I got put on the spot, and it was like, hey, Denny, you got to pick the music. And so it had to be a soundtrack. So I Googled, and it was like, oh, okay.
Why Elvis, though? Why Elvis?
Because the movie's out now.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I want to go see that movie, though.
Really?
It looks good.
Okay. I'm not going with you.
You ever seen the Dirt?
No.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, with
Motley
Motley Crue.
Oh,
Motley
yeah.
Crue.
Haven't seen it.
Great movie.
Unbelievable movie.
Well, Hayes and Marcus now are best friends. He's a big Motley Crue fan.
Absolutely.
All right, Marcus. Well, we have been promoting today that we have a big announcement to make. So I will let you make your first announcement. How are things going with your recruitment?
I think things are going better than they ever have right now, honestly. Today, actually a week ago, I got an offer from a school, that really could change my life. And I was excited about it, it made me reconsider my decision. So today I decommitted from Penn State, and it's all love for Penn State. They've done a lot for me and everything for me, and they've shown the same amount of love as they did to me, to my parents as well. So it's always going to be love towards them, and I'll never forget what they've done for me.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a hard conversation.
Yeah, no, it really was. Probably one of the toughest phone calls I'll ever have in my life.
So let's talk about the great conversations that you're going to have now and into the future. What's next for you?
What's next for me is I'm I'm becoming a Florida Gator. I'm going to Florida University.
University of Florida.
University of Florida. That's it right there, baby.
Congratulations, Marcus. That's very exciting.
Thank you so much.
That is fantastic.
yeah,
Congratulations.
I called Coach Napier. I told him, I was like, I'm ready to become a Gator, and everybody was ecstatic. So it's a crazy feeling.
What do you like about the University of Florida in Gainesville?
I love how it's close to home.
Mm-hmm.
It's only an hour, 30 minutes away. It benefits me and my parents, and Denny as well, benefits you.
I get to spend more time with this guy.
Exactly.
One of my favorite guys I've ever worked with. Like, y'all can see the personality. That's his greatest attribute. As good of a quarterback as he is, the personality, the energy that he brings into not just our facility, but Nease High School. I mean, what they've done there and what Coach Drafts has done with him has been amazing, right? And that's a direct reflection to the energy that he brings to the game. He loves the game, right? So it's great for me. I have no yes, I'm a Florida fan, but I have no dog in that fight. I was ecstatic about Penn State. But being able to be around Marcus more is I'll sign up for that all day.
Marcus, what was your relationship like with Billy Napier prior to him getting to Florida, and what's it been like getting to know him since he got the Gators job?
Prior to him being at Florida, I didn't know much about him. Louisiana, great school. I've heard he's done great things there, and I've heard he's had a great past. But before Florida, I didn't really know much about him. But once I took a visit there and really got to know him, I got to see how good of a person he is and how great of a coach he is. So it's always something great to have.
Marcus, I'm guessing you have heard of a former Nease quarterback who went to Florida named Tim Tebow.
I have.
Have you had any interactions with him?
I haven't so far, and it's kind of crazy right now how it's I'm rewriting history right now, or history's rewriting itself. So it's crazy to think about how two people, how small of a world it is. I come from Maryland, haven't lived in Florida my whole life, don't know anything about where Tim Tebow's from. And so, just being able to be a part of this history is insane. It's a great feeling.
Marcus, quarterbacks can have such a Pied Piper effect on a recruiting class. Are you excited about the opportunity to now galvanize this recruiting class, kind of become the unofficial leader of it, and try and get as many blue chip prospects to Gainesville as possible?
I'm beyond excited to start recruiting for this class, and I'm ready to be a part of what we're building here at Florida.
Marcus Stokes is here with us, Nease quarterback, who earlier today decommitted from Penn State and has committed to the University of Florida. Marcus, how would you describe your playing style as a quarterback? And then I'll ask Denny and see how close you get to it.
I like to have fun when I play. I like to have a certain amount of swagger. I've been called gritty, as you can say, and I think that's a very good attribute to have as a quarterback. Because you don't want to be nervous on the field. You want to feel like you know what you're doing, and you don't want to have any second thoughts about what you're doing. I feel like I can expand a play as well. I can use my legs and run if I need to. It's just, I would describe myself. I don't know. How would you?
I think Marcus is one of those guys where his personality shows in his game.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's times where he can freestyle something and make something out of nothing. And this is what I was talking about his current high school coach, Colin Drafts, and the way he's managed this and allowed it to happen. Because a lot of coaches would say, you can't do this. You can't be you. You got to stay within the confines. And Colin has not done that. And that's fantastic. You got to let him. You got to give him some rope. You got to give him the ability to freestyle, and good things are going to happen. The rarity in Marcus, though, is that the throws that have to be made, he can also make. So a lot of times those guys, they'll give you the flash plays, and they'll give you the fun plays, they'll give you the highlights, but they won't give you that 70% completion percentage on the easy throws, right? Mm-hmm. To get to 70 overall, that means you got to complete 90, 95% of the easy ones.
Yep.
Marcus nails those. And so he's got that perfect, I guess, rhythm of both. And that's probably the best way to describe him is he's a rhythm player. And it's been fun to see him up close and how coachable he is and how he's allowed us to almost experiment in a lot of ways through training.
Yeah.
And we've learned a lot about the quarterback position because Marcus has been so acceptive of that coaching, if that makes sense. and it shows in his game.
It's because I trust in everything that we do in the lab. So
Yeah.
Marcus, how much are you looking forward to getting to go to the swamp this fall?
words can't describe
Yeah.
how much I'm feeling or how good I'm feeling right now.
Do you have an idea how many home games that you'll be able to attend? And
I could attend all of them if I wanted.
Isn't that great? It's 90 minutes away.
90 minutes away.
It's
so.
fantastic. And the depth chart is really favorable. You know, if Anthony Richardson has a big year, you know, this may be his last year in the Gators. He may be playing in the NFL. How did that weigh in when you looked at what's on campus at the University of Florida in the quarterback room?
You know, obviously I'm really excited to get there. I think, you know, I'm proud for Anthony too. You know, the amount of work that he puts in the lab and the amount of hours that he's with Denny is impeccable. Like it's crazy. You know, he's a crazy athlete. I definitely think that he's going to go to the NFL after this year because I just know he's going to have a great year. You know, when I come in, I'm sure, like, I think there's going to be an open competition. I'm not sure, but, you know, we'll see. I'm ready to compete, so let's
Awesome.
go.
How was your experience at the Elite 11?
It was crazy, you know, freaking a whole day away from everybody that I know. So, you know, it felt weird. There was moments where I had to put on lotion because my skin started cracking up because it's very dry over there. But, you know, we're going to talk about Elite 11. So I think I could have performed better. I wish I had a little more time to prepare myself for it because that definitely would have helped with my ability to play. And, you know, but I also learned a lot. And I think that's the most important part about Elite 11 is learning a lot about being a quarterback, you know, and the attributes of being a quarterback, you know, being a leader, you know, your attitude on the field and, you know, your attitude to your players or your teammates. So all great things I learned at Elite 11, and I'm very grateful for that.
There's one thing that I want to say about Marcus, that there's only one offer that could have come that would have pulled him away from Penn State. Literally one. Since the day I met Marcus, the goal has been, I want to get to Florida, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that's important to note here, because a lot of times when we see decommitments, we forget that these are 17, 18-year-old guys, right? And so it's like, I knew when that Florida offer came, I'm like, oh, there's going to be some drama here, right? Like, we were cruising along. We were
doing pretty good.
We were fine. And then it's when they saw him throw in person, and when I talked to the Florida staff and heard the excitement in them about Marcus, that's when I went, okay, our job's not done. Right. And so this is literally, and I don't think, Marcus, you can call me out, I don't think I'm exaggerating. This is the only offer in the country, not Ohio State, not Georgia, not Alabama. This is it. This is the only one that could have pulled him away.
The only one. I couldn't agree with it more.
Marcus, what was that workout like, you know, with the Florida coaches when you know how much is riding on that, and kind of tell us the fulfillment that you had from obviously having such a spectacular workout?
You know, when I was at the 7-on-7 at not Penn State, when I was at the 7-on-7 at Florida about a week or two ago, I didn't really feel any pressure. You know, I was out there to compete with my team, and that's what I was going to do. I didn't care how many eyes were on me. I was just going to do what I do to help my team win a game, you know, compete in the 7-on-7. So that was my main priority going into it. I didn't think of it much. But then, you know, when the time came, I was like, oh, my goodness, like my life is about to change.
Tell us about your current team. There's going to be a lot of Gator fans now that are going to be showing up to watch a lot of Nease football. Tell us about the guys you rely on.
Mainly the seniors. You know, we had a lot of seniors last year. You know, 36 graduating, maybe 35. I'm not sure, but you know, they were a huge part of our team because our team last year. The reason why we had such a big turnaround is because we had a player-led team. You know, that's really important. You know, when the backs are turned around from the coaches, you know, what are you going to do? When you have a player-led team, you can do everything perfectly. You can do whatever you want. So I think this year we're going to have the same type of deal because all of the seniors are bought in. And, you know, even the young guys, you know, they're going to start like stepping up being leaders because we had so many people leave. So I think this year's going to be fun.
All right, Marcus. Well, we want to say thank you so much for not just coming in, but also announcing your news on the Frangie Show.
Yes, ma'am. Go Gators.
Go Gators is right, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Hope you enjoyed that. Really appreciate Marcus's time. What an outstanding young man, and really can't wait to watch him. And there's so many levels of this, Graham. I think when you look at it, you hit it earlier about that this is how you do it. You need elite players to turn Florida around, to hit a higher level. I do think there's a Pied Piper effect with a commitment like this. You know, Denny had a great point. There are only so many blue chip 4-star prospects, and they're a very tight group because they travel to all these different camps and things like that, and they're on the visits. And now, if you're Florida, you have a Pied Piper 4-star blue chip quarterback that is going to be at all the games this fall. I mean, he's just 90 minutes away from campus. So you bring in official visitors for Utah, for LSU, for all the home games. You know, there's a good chance Marcus is going to be there, and that is so huge. I know that, you know, you're too young to remember this, but Chris Leak, when he committed to Florida, when Ron Zook was the coach, there was an unbelievable Pied Piper effect. I mean, the amount of talent that ended up following Chris Leak into that class was sensational, and it laid the foundation for the 06 title team that, you know, Urban Meyer obviously was the head coach for, but it was that Ron Zook class that really was the backbone of that run, and Chris Leak was the heart of that class. And so it's going to be really intriguing to see it. The other thing that I'm really excited about that you know, you heard in the interview is Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson and Marcus work with Denny. They know each other. So while they will probably never be teammates, if Anthony Richardson has a pretty big year, this is going to probably be his last year at Florida. He'll be in the NFL draft as a very high pick with his athleticism. So Marcus has a favorable depth chart as he enters Florida. But when you look at it, because of his relationship with Anthony, he should also have a very good idea of what the coaches expect, the day in and day out, who he can lean on in terms of returning players. Graham, he should have an outstanding familiarity of things when he arrives in Gainesville once he's enrolled.
And you're absolutely right about all of that. And what I would hope is they're in Denny's facility together as much as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Something, because you just talked about the Pied Piper effect, that I just kind of remembered while you were saying it. When you listen to that interview, as we know, because we've interviewed high schoolers before, he doesn't have the personality of a typical high school kid. He's a lot easier to talk to,
right,
than most high school kids. That interview is very easy, right? That it's not always that way with high school kids,
right?
When you're a quarterback, that matters, and when you're a Pied Piper of the class, that also matters.
Yeah,
it's not just some boring, dry dude that's like, "Hey, come here." It's like a fun personality. He can kind of almost be a host as one of the players, you know, at those games. So if they win a couple of those and they have him there, there's no telling what could happen.
Yeah, it is really going to be fun now to see the after effects of where this goes with Marcus. And again, I think you look at 6'2", 185, you know, brilliant runner. To hear Denny talk about him. And again, follow Denny Thompson if you don't already, because he's going to tweet out videos of Marcus and things like that. He was talking about his footwork and how exquisite it is. It's great stuff. And obviously, I know Gator fans are going to be flocking to Nease High School and following Nease around the area when they play to watch Marcus's talents. But 6'2", 185, like I said, a 4-star player. And again, gives Florida really the recruiting shot in the arm that they needed. Florida was 43rd in the 24/7 Sports Composite. They jumped up to 36. And wow, look at this, Graham. Wow, we talked about the Pied Piper effect. Trinity Christian running back Trayon Webb has just, like Marcus, decommitted from Penn State, committed to the Florida Gators.
That's it, baby.
That's unbelievable.
Let's go.
Yeah. So you've got a 4-star quarterback and a 4-star running back from right here in the Jacksonville area. That is just unbelievable.
I think they may have planned that.
They may have. They may have planned that.
I mean, it's 30 minutes after Marcus commits live on our airwaves.
That's amazing. Like, so literally in the last half hour, Florida has gone. Let's see if this is.
They probably jumped 20 spots.
Has been updated. Yeah,
you just got 2 blue chip prospects.
Florida is now 26th. Yep. So they've gone in an hour from 43rd. I'm assuming this to 26. I'm assuming that's with Trayon Webb's inclusion. So again, now you've got a lot of momentum. Now the fans that were a little disgruntled about the recruiting progress, I think you put that totally at ease now. I think Florida fans are gonna, and everybody should be rallying around Billy Napier anyway. But now I think everybody gets fully on board and really excited to see where this can go. And now you wonder what's next. It's a really exciting time for the Gators.
And something important here with both of these guys, Marcus Stokes from Jacksonville, Nease guy, clearly grew up a Gator fan. Trayon Webb is a legacy Gator.
Right. Great.
D-Webb played there.
Yeah.
But what Billy Napier, the number one priority, if you have a blue chip guy that's from close to Gainesville and they grew up a Gator fan, you need to get every last one of those players.
Absolutely.
If you don't get every last one of those players, what are you doing?
Right.
Don't worry. Before you worry about the California kids and the Texas kids and even the South Florida kids, like whatever, kids in Florida that grew up Gator fans, they better go to Florida.
Right.
They better be priority one every time because that's your number one gateway to other guys.
Yeah.
So
no question about it. It's a fantastic day, and we're excited to bring you all the details about it here on Bringing Back the Gators. Once again, I want to thank Denny Thompson for setting it up with Marcus Stokes. Just a fantastic opportunity for Marcus to announce his news here at 1010XL 92.5 FM. And we certainly will look forward to coming back with some great guests as we continue throughout the summer on Bringing Back the Gators. We've got a couple Florida players lined up for you that we're really excited to talk to get you fired up for Billy Napier in this season of Florida football. Want to thank Harrell Harrell once more. Once again, hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell Harrell at 251-1111. They're outstanding people. It's a Jacksonville firm through and through. They're going to know you when you call them, and they can take on anybody. So hopefully you won't need them, but if you have been injured or a loved one has, call Harrell Harrell at 251-1111. For Graham Marsh, this is Hayes Carline. Thanks for listening to Bringing Back the Gators.